We're all familiar with the 1931 movie Frankenstein, starring Boris Karloff as the misunderstood monster. Well, the very next year, this Mary Shelley story became the basis of a radio series. Here with the first 5 episodes of the 1932 series starring George Edwards, it's Frankenstein, today's feature on Radio Classics at theradiodadio.com.
It's a monster of a show.
We now present George Edwards in Frankenstein. The good ship Voyager had been on a journey of exploration towards the North Pole. She was homeward bound, but unfortunately, the icy grip of the northern winter closed in, and the Voyager was surrounded by great blocks of solid ice. Her captain and crew were prepared for a weary wait before the thaw set in, and they could continue their journey home. Shortly after noon, Captain Walton and his first mate, Mr. Boyd, were standing on the deck of the Voyager. They looked out across the icy waste.
Well, Mr. Boyd, I think we will be here for quite a considerable time yet. There's no sign of a thaw setting in.
The trouble is to keep the crew occupied, Captain, and they're beginning to grumble a good deal already.
Well, give them as much work as you can. After all, we were prepared for something like this. We have ample supplies of provisions. I will take all responsibility for my men. I can promise you that they will all return safely doing good.
My eyes are
What ails you, Mr. Boyd?
Look there. Coming across the ice.
A man. Are all the crew accounted for, Mr. Boyd?
No one has left the vessel, sir.
Approaches the side of the vessel. Ahoy there!
The ship here. No, I must be dreaming. This is another season of my tortured brain.
I can assure you this is a ship. Give orders of the strangers to be helped aboard, Mr. Boyd.
Aye, sir.
What ship is this? Whither are you bound?
My men are coming to help you aboard now, sir. Bring him up that rope ladder. Steady there.
Stranger appears to speak good English.
Yeah? I wonder where he came from. I can't understand it. A man wandering about all alone out here. The wind and the snow is howling about.
They're bringing him aboard now, sir.
Who is the captain of this vessel?
I am the captain. My name is Walton.
And whither is this vessel bound?
We have been on a voyage of exploration towards the North Pole. We commenced our journey homeward. The ice closed in on us. We are staying here until the thaw sets in.
May I crave your hospitality and shelter?
Most certainly, sir. May I ask your name?
Victor Baron Fankenstein. I am ill and weak.
Careful, he will fall.
All right, sir, I have him.
I must express my sorrow for the trouble I am causing you, Captain. But I am seeking shelter. Then my quest must go on. I must always go on. I cannot die till I find that evil, that demon, which I unloosed upon the world.
You speak strange words, sir.
Forgive me. If I can but crave your kindness, some food, and I will...
Mr. Boyd, take Baron Frankenstein below to my cabin. See that he is made comfortable there. Give him food and drink. Let the ship's surgeon attend to him.
You are giving him your cabin, sir?
Why not? You heard my orders. Have a hammock slung for me in the cabin.
Aye, sir.
Well, Mr. Boyd, how does the stranger progress?
We put him to bed
bed, sir. He slept for quite a long time. He seems better now, but I think his mind is rambling.
Why do you say that?
Well, ever and anon he speaks of some demon, some fearful monster. He peers through the porthole. We had to use force on one occasion to persuade him to return to his bed.
Strange. Perhaps his wanderings have deranged his mind.
Do you think it is safe to leave him without a guard? Do you think we should take the precaution of locking your daughter?
He appears to be a gentleman. No doubt he has a strange story to tell. Has he mentioned anything which might supply a key to this mystery? Or why he was wandering about here in these icy wastes?
He said that he was searching for an evil spirit, for a destroyer, a taker of human life. There's something about the man which makes me afraid, sir.
Oh, boy, the man can do you no harm. I will go down and speak with him myself.
Do you wish me to accompany you, Captain?
No, I will go alone.
But should he become violent?
Oh, the man is weak and ill. How can he become violent?
He struggled with us when we dragged him away from the porthole. He says he must be watching, forever watching.
Poor devil. I will try to persuade him to tell me his story. Wait here on deck, Boyd. I will send for you if I need you. Pardon my intrusion, Baron Frankenstein. I came to inquire after your health.
Why was I locked in this cabin? Why are you keeping me a prisoner?
I am considering your own safety.
Considering my own safety? I tell you, sir, my life means nothing to me. I wish to repair the great wrong which I have done. My friends, my family, they have all been murdered. And I am the murderer.
You know not what you say.
Look on me, Captain. You are looking on a man who unleashed a horror on this world. A man who was responsible for the murder of his beloved wife, his best friend, for the murder of little children.
Are you a fugitive from justice?
I am not a fugitive. I have been punished because I tried to usurp the rights of God. Now I seek to repair the wrong which I did.
I do not understand you.
Bid your sailors keep a close watch. Somewhere in these white wastes, somewhere near here, there is a monster, a creature who delights in taking human life. None of you is safe.
Your wanderings and your hardships have caused you to imagine these things.
No, I swear it is the truth. Near this vessel, I saw a giant footprint in the snow. It must have been the footstep of the monster which I created.
Would you like to tell me something of your story?
Captain Vulcan, I do not know if you will believe my story when I tell it to you. Perhaps you may have proof. Perhaps someday you will look upon this monster. And may heaven grant that you do not.
If it will help you to tell me about it, Baron Frankenstein, I assure you I will make a ready listener.
Be seated, Captain. I have told you that my name is Baron Victor Frankenstein. I was born in Geneva, and my family is one of the most distinguished in that republic. My father had filled several public situations with honor and reputation. He was respected by all who knew him for his integrity. So you can see, sir, that I grew up in the most ideal surroundings. When I was 17, my parents sent me to the University of Ingolstadt, and there I became interested in science. During my attendance at the university, my beloved mother died. I returned home for a brief while, and whilst at home I fell deeply in love with my cousin Elizabeth, and I determined to marry her as soon as my course at the university had been completed. I returned to Ingolstadt and continued with my studies. I read deeply, and gradually a most dreadful thought occurred to me. From my readings and my studies, I realized that it would be possible for man to create man. I became aware of the tremendous power of electricity. I was caught once in a terrific thunderstorm. I observed how the lightning had split an oak tree in half. And the knowledge came to me that just as electricity can destroy life, so can it create. And then and there, my horrible resolve was born. I vowed that I would not rest until I had created a man.
This seems incredible, Baron Frankenstein.
Oh, it may seem incredible to one who is not acquainted with science, but I studied and experimented, and when I retired from the university, I begged my father to build me a laboratory near our old home. He agreed to do this, and then I took into my confidence an old family servant called Julio. The man was crippled, but he had a keen and agile brain, and he was interested in my experiments. For months we worked. I intended to create a creature who would be both strong, good to look upon, and noble.
Are you speaking the truth, Baron Frankenstein?
I swear that I speak the truth.
Did you succeed with this monstrous project?
I swear a holy oath that I succeeded. I created a man. I usurped the rights of God. Did I say I created a man? That is not the truth. I created a monster.
A monster?
Why, you might well shudder, Captain Walton. I will tell you the story of the creation of this monster. I will tell you why you found me wandering about the White Waste.
How did you get here?
I chartered a ship. I paid a crew. We were wrecked upon an iceberg and all perished save one person. I was the miserable person who lived on because I had to live. I cannot die until I have destroyed that which I have created.
But if you created this monster in Geneva, what is it doing here out in the White Waste of the North?
Oh, I'm tired, my friend. The story is too dreadful and horrible. Let me regain my strength so that I may complete my work. What I have created must be destroyed.
Oh, my poor fellow. I assure you that we will give you every care and attention.
Still you do not believe me. What was that? The monster is here, aboard the vessel. That was the most ghastly laugh I have ever heard. Open the door. Let me complete my work now. Did you hear that? Stand aside.
No, we shall not open this door. Mr. Boyd! Mr. Boyd! Come there at once and bring a pistol with you!
And now, the next episode of Frankenstein, starring George Edwards.
We now present George Edwards in Frankenstein. The good ship Voyager was held fast in the northern ice pack. The captain and crew were astonished when a stranger came staggering across the ice and asked for shelter. This stranger was Baron Victor Frankenstein. He was placed in the captain's cabin, and then he commenced to tell his story. Shortly afterwards, however, a ghastly laugh was heard outside the cabin door. Frankenstein weakly attempted to get out of bed, but the captain pushed him back and called to the first officer to come to his aid.
Captain Walton, you are condemning your first officer to death. A monster is out there. A blood-crazed, conscienceless beast. Oh, let me go.
You are weak and ill. You can do nothing, Baron Frankenstein.
Captain, what happened?
Did you bring a pistol?
Yes, some of the detectives. I came down from anyway.
Is there anyone out there now?
No one, sir.
Very well. I shall unlock the door. Now come in.
What did you see? Tell us what happened.
I heard the captain calling, and I dashed down the companionway. Then, out of the darkness, a huge figure seemed to leap at me. I was knocked aside. When I arose, there was no sign of anyone. I dashed up on deck again. There was no one there. The man on watch reports that he saw nothing.
The monster was here. You are lucky to be alive.
I believe your story now, friend Frankenstein.
I created that monster, and I must live until I kill him. That is my sole task on this earth. What I created, so I will destroy.
What do you mean, sir?
It is a strange story, Mr. Boyce. The Baron Frankenstein is too exhausted to talk anymore tonight. Pray remain in the bunk bed.
I must try to get to sleep. I must recover my strength. I must have strength enough to kill the monster.
You shall have every care and attention here. I will place a man on guard outside your door.
I do not think the monster will return tonight.
The storm has become worse. The blizzard is raging now. It will be difficult for anyone to live out there.
Let us trust that this monster perishes in the storm.
I am to be called if any sign is seen of him. In the meanwhile, let me sleep. Then on the morrow, if I feel refreshed, I will tell all my story, Captain Walton.
Very well, Baron Frankenstein. Mr. Boyd, you will go up on deck now, and you will arrange for 2 men to stand guard outside this door. I will share your cabin with you tonight.
Aye, sir.
I bid you good night, Baron Frankenstein. We will meet on the morrow. Surgeon tells me that you seem much better today, Baron Frankenstein.
Yes, Captain, I feel much better. Was there any sign of the monster during the night?
Nothing was seen.
Please be seated. I know that you are interested in my story and you are puzzled by these strange happenings.
I am extremely puzzled.
Well, I told you that after I left the university, my father built a laboratory near our house. Each day I used to spend hours in this laboratory working with my servant Julio. Day after day, I read and studied so that my great experiment would be a success. Sometimes by night, Julio and I would visit graveyards to exhume freshly buried bodies. I was going to make a man, and the creature of my making was to be beautiful. I slaved and labored, neglecting my family and my friends, neglecting my fiancée, Elizabeth. It so happened that at that time, my greatest friend, Ernst Claval, came to stay at our home. He had been at the university with me, and he had a vague inkling as to the nature of my experiment. However, I had become sullen and morose. I shunned my friend, and as my experiment neared completion, well, I became possessed by a strange, tense excitement. Imagine me in my laboratory late one afternoon, Captain Walton. I glanced out of the window and saw that the sky was dark and overcast. My servant Julio stood by my side. Now and again he would glance over at the great bench on which lay a huge inanimate figure swathed around with yards of bandages. I walked over to where the figure lay. Julio followed me. Julio, I have news for you. I think that tonight we'll see the end of our work.
Do you mean that the figure will come to life tonight, my master?
I hope so. If the threatened thunderstorm takes place, there will be sufficient electricity to bring light to this inanimate mass. Look at it, Julio. At present, it is a lifeless mass shaped in the form of a man. For months, we have worked over it. Tonight, if the storm breaks, we shall raise this figure to the top of the tower in the laboratory, and there it will stay for 1 hour while the thunder crashes and the lightning flashes. Then we shall lower the body onto this bench once again. The wrappings will be taken off, and who knows? I may have created a man. Think of it, Julio. My work will be rewarded.
I am afraid, master. We should not do this.
Fool, why are you afraid? I am about to make a name for myself. I will be the greatest man in the world because I have created another in my own likeness. Throughout the centuries, men have tried to do this, but I will succeed. I know it.
You may not be meant to succeed.
Who is there?
It is Cleval here. May I come in, Victor?
Yes. All right, Julio. Unlock the door.
Oh, thank you. I wondered if I might watch you at work.
Ernst, the time is right now for you to share my secret. My experiments are almost at an end.
I suspect the nature of your experiments, Victor, and I almost dread to ask if my suspicions are correct.
Look on this bench. Tell me what you see, Ernst.
A huge, inanimate figure swathed around with bandages.
My creation. Tonight, this figure shall have life.
Victor, you must not do it. Man is not meant to do that.
Oh, you are like Julio. He is also afraid.
I want to speak with you privately. Bid Julio be gone.
You may go, Julio, but be here tonight at 7 o'clock. We shall wait for the storm to break. The clouds are banking up now.
I will obey you, my master.
Victor, your life is bound up in this strange experiment, which I do not think for one moment will succeed. But might I point out that you are in love with a very beautiful and charming girl. You are neglecting her, and she feels this neglect keenly.
Clerval, my friend, I know that I have been neglecting Elizabeth, but she will be proud of me, proud to marry me. I will be hailed as the greatest scientist the world has ever known.
I beg of you to desist in this experiment. Do not try to bring life to this body tonight. Destroy what you have already done. Then marry Elizabeth and go away somewhere for a long holiday. You do not look well, my friend.
Oh, I have been working too hard. But you ask too much of me, Ernst. I cannot give up my life's work.
Do you love your work more than you do Elizabeth?
I love Elizabeth very dearly, but I must do something with my life. I have always wanted to be a great scientist. My discovery will revolutionize the world. It will be possible to make men. Do you not understand?
It is not possible. Experiments like this are not meant to succeed. You are usurping the right of God.
Ernst, you are my best friend. You cannot seriously ask me to give up this work. I am going to ask you to be here in this laboratory with me tonight to watch as I unbind the bandages from this figure and to know that my experiment has succeeded.
Very well, Victor. Since you insist. But I do think you should take Elizabeth into your confidence. Let her come here tonight.
Oh, she will be afraid.
We will all be afraid. But without wishing to dampen your ardor, let me assure you that I do not think this experiment will succeed.
We shall see.
Well, come with me now. Speak to Elizabeth. Tell her that you have been neglecting her and ask her to be present tonight.
I will do that.
We will go and seek out Elizabeth now.
Well, Captain, I sought out my fiancée. I told her the truth. At first she was horrified, but gradually she became interested and she consented to be present in the laboratory that night. After dinner, the storm developed rapidly. The thunder roared and there were great streaks of forked lightning. Together, Elizabeth, Ernst, and myself went to the laboratory. There we found Julio awaiting us, and I led the way to the bench on which lay the inanimate figure. When we reached the bench... Well, my friends, I feel that you are about to witness one of the most extraordinary things in the annals of the world's history. Before you see a great inanimate figure entirely covered in bandages. By means of pulleys, Julio and I will raise that figure to the top of the tower, where it will remain for an hour. Then we will lower it, and I think the figure will have life.
No, you cannot do it, Victor. You must not. I am afraid.
Elizabeth, you said you had confidence in me.
Will you promise me this, Victor? If the experiment is a failure, will you marry me and let us go away together? Never attempt to do this again. It is madness.
I promise that if the experiment is a failure, I will discontinue all attempts. Now, does that satisfy you, Elizabeth?
It does.
Oh, do not worry, Elizabeth. I feel sure that this experiment cannot succeed.
You hope it does not succeed, Ernst, but we shall see. The storm is at its height now. Come, Julio. Help me to place the body on the lift. Now, careful. Roll it over.
Victor, I beg of you, do not do it.
Quiet, please. Now, Julio, pull the ropes and I will assist you. Pull. See, my friend, the body is going up to the tower. There it will be exposed to the full fury of the storm. Watch.
The lightning frightens me. But this is a dreadful storm.
The body is in place now. It will remain there for an hour. We must be patient. We will wait here. And in an hour's time, I will lower the body, unwrap the bandages, and perhaps I will have created.
Please proceed, Baron Frankenstein. Tell me what happened.
I can tell you no more today, Captain. I am weary now, and the memory of the past upsets me. Please be patient.
I will be patient. I will leave you to rest now, but I will return later, anxious to hear the remainder of your story.
And now, the next episode of Frankenstein, starring George Edwards.
We now present George Edwards in Frankenstein. Baron Frankenstein had taken refuge on the ship Voyager, which was icebound somewhere near the North Pole. The Baron was weak and ill, and the captain and his officers did their best to restore him to health. Gradually, he told them his story, and he explained to the captain of the attempts he made to create a man.
Do you feel able to tell me any more of your story now, Baron Frankenstein?
Somewhere out in those wide wastes, there is something which must be destroyed. The thought of it is driving me mad. If only I could regain my strength. If only I could continue my quest.
Please do not distress yourself. The surgeon tells me that you are making an excellent recovery. I want to hear about your great experiment.
Well, I told you how my fiancée, Elizabeth, and my friend Ernst Claval and myself waited in the laboratory during the violent thunderstorm, while up above us, exposed to the full fury of the storm, lay the lifeless body which I had made. For a full hour, we watched, and everyone seemed to be agitated. My servant Julio crouched in a corner, and ever and anon cast fearful glances up above. At last the hour passed, and I motioned to Julio to move over towards the pulley. Ernst and Elizabeth followed me, and I said, "Come, Julio. The body has been there for a full hour now. It is time to lower it." My hands are trembling with excitement, for soon I shall know whether I have created a man.
Stop. I make one more appeal to you, Victor. Do not proceed with that experiment. When you bring that body down, I beg you to destroy it.
After experimenting on it for months and months? Oh, what you ask is too much. I also add my pleas to those of Elizabeth. Well, I must turn a deaf ear to your pleas. Help me with this pulley, Julio.
I will, my master, but I am afraid the devil stalks abroad tonight.
Ah, that is nonsense. I am a scientist. I am conducting an experiment. Now lower it gently.
The storm seems to have abated a little.
I seldom remember a worse storm. The thunder is still pealing. It is a fitting night for devil's work.
This is not devil's work, Ernst. It is an achievement in the field of science. Now, roll the body off the lift. Come on. Gently, Julio. Over here. Fast time. Close, all of you.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to unwrap the bandages. We'll start here.
Nothing will happen. Nothing can happen. Oh, I feel that I must pray. Please do not let this creature have life.
We should all pray. It is not too late to stay your hand, Victor.
Quiet. I feel sure that I am on the verge of success. I am removing the wrappings now. Look!
The storm is increasing again. It sounds almost as if the voice of the heavens is protesting.
Look at the face. It is horrible.
I did not mean the face to be like that. I thought it would be beautiful. The skin is all drawn tight. It is awful. This is ghastly. There is no sign of life. Wait. I will remove the other bandages.
I have never seen such a hideous, bestial face. No creature like that could have life.
Elizabeth, what ails you?
The eyelids. I swear I saw them flutter.
The eyelids did move.
No. We must be dreaming. The horrible creature is looking at us.
No. It has closed its eyes again. Julio, darken the room. The light is too strong.
My master, let me take this hammer. Let me destroy the creature.
You heard my orders. Lower the light.
I will obey.
Look. It is raising one arm.
It has life. My experiment has succeeded. I have created life. I am the greatest man the world has ever known. No other man has had such power. Victor, this is too horrible. Destroy it now. Destroy it now would be murder. Although this creature is terrible to look upon, it is a man. It has life. It has feelings just as you and I.
Can it speak?
Not yet. It must learn to speak, just as we had to learn.
That awful noise.
What are you going to do, Victor? I was prepared for the success of this experiment. So there is a room all in readiness for my creation. Unlock the door of that room, Julio.
I am afraid. Let me destroy this creature.
Come, Julio. You help me to create this man.
It is not a man. It is a monster.
It is moving. It is struggling into a sitting position. Have you unlocked the door of the room, Julio?
I have, my master.
Then help me. We will move the creature into its abode. We will lock it in there. It will be your charge until tomorrow, Julio. Remain here in the laboratory. Remain just outside the door. Do not enter the room yourself, and do not let anyone else enter.
I will obey.
Oh, this is my creation. A man which I made with my own hands. The creature seems to be able to focus its eyes now. It is looking straight at me. Oh, it looks awful. I shall train it myself. Come, take the other arm, Ernst. Let us help it to walk across the room. No, I cannot touch it. There is much I would do for you, Victor, but I cannot touch that monster.
I feel that I am going mad.
There is no need to be afraid. The creature is helpless. It can barely walk. You help me, Julio. Take the other arm.
No, do not make me touch it.
Do as I say. Look, I have taken one arm. Now, help it off the bench. Take it across the room here. Carefully. It can barely drag one leg after the other. I have never seen anything so horrible. I admit I am disappointed in the appearance of my creation. It seems that in gaining life, the skin has become stretched tight, and the features have coarsened. Still, the creature has life, and that is the main thing. Now we will place it in this room. Careful, Julio. Now, help me get it off the bed.
Its head is not big enough. The creature seems to have become taller and bigger.
That is the extraordinary thing. Probably caused by the electricity. Leave it on the bed. Now come outside. I will lock the door. You take the key and keep it, Julio.
I am glad the door is locked. I feel safer now.
I feel a strange and almost overpowering sense of triumph. In my wildest dream, I had not hoped for success. And
Victor?
He has fainted. No. I felt strangely weak. Help me to get out of here. Let me go to my room.
Baron Frankenstein, your story seems extraordinary. What became of the dreadful monster which you created?
I felt weak and ill that night, and Elizabeth and Ernst helped me to my room. There I fell into a deep and troubled slumber. I awakened in the morning to find both Ernst and Elizabeth standing by the side of my bed. As soon as I saw them... Ernst? Elizabeth, what are you doing here?
We were worried about you.
Oh, I remember now. My great experiment was a success. I must go to the laboratory at once.
Victor, I beg you to destroy that creature. Just as you gave it life, so you can take that life away. I know that you will never be happy while the creature lives, and I know that I can never be happy. For the sake of the love you bear me, for the sake of the happiness which we desire, I beg you to destroy the creature.
Elizabeth is right, Victor. Your experiment was not altogether a success. You hoped to make something beautiful, and the result has been a hideous monster, a monster which you cannot unleash upon the world, or it will be forever upon your conscience.
Perhaps you are right.
I know we are right. Please, Victor, if you love me, you will do what I ask.
Well, I will dress at once, and then I will go over to the laboratory and make arrangements to do away with the monster. You shall come with me.
I will not go.
I will go with you, Victor.
Good. Then if you wait for me downstairs, I will join you.
It seems that you regretted your somewhat rash experiment, Baron Frankenstein.
I did, Captain Wharton. And I feel happier when I had made up my mind to destroy my creation. I dressed hastily and went downstairs, where I found Ernst waiting for me. We walked across to the laboratory and entered the room, and then I called for Julio. Julio! Julio!
It is strange that he does not answer.
I ordered him not to leave here.
Look, the door of the room where you put the creature.
There is no door there.
It is wrenched off its hinges.
What could have happened? Look, there in the corner. What is it?
Let me see. Why, it is the broken body of Julio.
The broken body of Julio?
Yes, look for yourself.
Oh, this is horrible. Let me look in that room.
Is there anyone there?
The room is empty. I am too late. The monster has escaped, and in so doing, he has murdered my servant. I have unleashed a horror upon the world. I can speak no more of the matter at present, Captain Wharton. The memory of that horror is still too vivid. I beg of you, let me rest now.
I will let you rest, Baron Frankenstein.
I feel that I have not the right to sleep. I should not rest. But I must regain my strength.
Try and sleep now. I will send the ship's surgeon to you, and tomorrow I will come and speak with you again.
And now, the next episode of Frankenstein, starring George Edwards.
We now present George Edwards in Frankenstein. Baron Victor Frankenstein is relating his tragic story to Captain Wharton of the good ship Voyager. The vessel is icebound somewhere near the North Pole. Frankenstein is taking shelter there. He told the captain of the creation of the monster and of events leading up to the monster's escape and the murder of Julio.
Much better this morning, Baron Frankenstein. I trust you had a good night's sleep.
I feel better, thank you, Captain.
Tell me, what happened after you discovered the body of your servant Julio?
I recall it quite clearly. My friend Ernst Clerval and myself were in the laboratory. We found that the door of the monster's room had been burst open, and there was the broken body of Julio lying upon the floor. We bent over the body and then Clerval.
Do you realize, Victor, that you have unleashed a monster upon the world, a killer,
Anybody's life may be in danger. We must make a search immediately. I will organize a search party. All the peasants on the estate can join in the search. I now realize the enormity of my crime.
I will aid you, but I do not know what Elizabeth will say when she learns of this.
What are the authorities going to say? How am I going to explain the broken body of Julio?
You will have to tell the truth to the police.
But they will not believe me. They think I am mad.
Oh, you were mad to attempt this experiment. I am only sorry that it has succeeded. Elizabeth will be appalled when she hears this news.
I will search for the monster, I promise you. But I do not think there is anything further to fear, Ernst. The monster will perish. I wish that this were only a dream, some horrible nightmare, and I could awaken to find it was not true.
Poor Julio's body proves the truth of what has happened.
I know, but somehow my fear has vanished. I am going to seek my own happiness now.
Oh, how can you talk like that when the monster is at large?
The monster will be found. If not, he will perish. Let us go for the tree.
Tell me, did the police succeed in finding the monster, Baron Frankenstein?
They did not. The search went on for days, and still there was no trace of the monster. But my hopes were high. I felt sure that the creature had wandered away somewhere in the hills, and there perished from cold and starvation. There came a day when I had almost forgotten the monster, and my experiments, they seemed like some dim dream of the past. I sought out Elizabeth and asked her, Elizabeth, I feel sure that we will have no further fear of the strange creature for which I was responsible. I am asking you now, will you marry me and come away to England? Let us take a long journey together.
But Victor, does your conscience allow you to live here? Are you sure that nothing further will be heard of this horrible creature?
Oh, it is some months since the monster disappeared and nothing has been heard of it. It is safe for me to go now, Elizabeth.
How long shall we be away?
For at least 6 months. Then we shall return here and settle down in my home. Oh, please say that you will marry me as soon as possible, Elizabeth.
There is only one request I have to make of you, Victor.
What is it?
My sister's child, William, needs a home. His mother is very ill. His father is dead. Can he come and live with us?
Well, of course. I am very fond of William. We shall adopt him, and he shall be as our own child.
Oh, you are very kind, Victor.
Oh, I am just a man in love with a beautiful woman. Now, let us go and tell your father. We will be married very soon, and we shall make all arrangements for our journey to see.
Well, Baron Frankenstein, I trust you are not too tired to continue with the story?
No, I am just marshalling the facts recalling my happy marriage. Those glorious few months in England and then my return home.
How long did you remain in England?
For 8 months. We had a delightful holiday there, and I returned to my ancestral home, and my wife and I settled down. During our absence, we had left the child William in charge of a nurse, whom we called Justine. She was an old friend of the family. She had known my wife for years. A few days after our return, Justine approached my wife and asked her,
Master William desires that I shall take him out for a walk. Do you think the weather is clear enough, Baroness?
Oh, I think the child could go for a walk. What do you think, Victor?
By all means, the sun is shining brightly now, although there are clouds on the horizon.
Clouds under the horizon. Thick black clouds. I fear there may be a storm.
Oh, just such a storm as one...
Please, Victor, we agreed never to talk of that.
Well, may I take the child for a walk?
Yes, just a short walk down to the lake, Justine.
Tell me, Justine, do you like the child? Do you think that young Master William shows promise?
He is rather a David child, with a very strong will of his own. But I am fairly strict with him.
Oh, you must not be too strict with him. Remember, we were all young once.
I will remember that, Baroness.
All right, take him out now. But do not take him any further down the lake. If there are any signs of an approaching storm, bring William home at once.
I will, madame.
Tell me, Elizabeth, what do you think of Justine?
Oh, I have known her for years, my dear. But you do not seem to like her.
She is rather a grim and forbidding woman.
Oh, in reality, she has a very kind heart.
Come over here, Elizabeth. Look out of the window.
What is the matter?
Look at those strange black clouds on the far horizon. They fill me with a sense of grim foreboding.
Victor!
Clouds gathered like dots on the day that I created the monster.
Victor, do not think about it. The monster is dead. It is 12 months since he disappeared.
But is he dead? The body has never been found.
Darling, do you not think we would have heard if the monster had still been alive?
I suppose so. Did you hear that?
Thunder in the distance. Oh, I hope Justine has the intelligence to bring William home before the storm shows signs of breaking.
Why am I seized by this nameless fear? That thunder frightened me.
Darling, do not think of the past. Let us talk of something else. We know that your friend Ernst is due tomorrow. I hope he stays with us for some weeks.
I will be glad to see Ernst again, but in a way he will remind me of the horrors of the past.
Oh, you must do your best to forget. You must try and forget that the monster ever existed.
I must tell myself that. I created the monster, and now that monster is dead. I will never see it again.
Victor, what can I hear?
That dreadful sound. Strange, dragging footsteps.
The footsteps are approaching this door. Oh, Victor, I am frightened.
The footsteps have stopped.
Victor, what can it mean?
Look, Elizabeth. The door is opening slowly. So slowly.
Frankenstein, my master. We meet again.
The monster.
This cannot be. I told myself that the monster no longer existed.
It is many months since we have met, my master. And now all that you desire. I can walk. I can move freely. I can think. And I can speak.
Where have you been?
Living in the woods these many months. Watching other folk. Learning to speak as they speak. And almost dying from intolerable loneliness. I come to make terms with you, my master.
Terms? What mean you by that?
Victor, he looks too horrible. That awful face. Those long, shambling legs. Tell me it is not true.
Calm yourself, please, Elizabeth.
I am an object of hatred and scorn and derision wherever I go. You did this, Frankenstein. You gave me life, but a life which is filled with misery. All men, all women turn from me. Why did you give me life so that I may suffer?
If I had a gun, I would put an end to the life which I gave you. I would destroy you.
I do not wish to die. I wish to live. I wish to be happy as other men are.
Why? What do you ask of me?
You made me. You gave life to me. Now make a mate for me. A woman who may share my life with me.
What you ask is impossible. It shall be my mission in life to destroy you. Did you not kill my servant?
That matters not. We will talk of this again. I have come to make a bargain with you. Give me a companion, someone to share my loneliness. Why should I not know happiness as others know it?
Victor, you must not grant his request.
Fear not, Elizabeth. I will never grant it.
So be it, Frankenstein. You and yours shall suffer for this.
What mean you by that?
I killed one man, and I can kill others. And unless you heed my demand, unless you fashion for me a mate, then you and all your family will suffer. I will kill them just as I killed that man. I will kill all who stand in my path. I will leave a trail of death and destruction wherever I go. But I will not kill you. You shall live on until I bend you to my will. The creature shall rule the master.
Foul monster. I shall kill you now.
That puny mannequin.
Victor, be careful.
He is not dead. He laid his hands on me, and I hurled him away. Rise to your feet, Frankenstein.
I am powerless to destroy the thing which I created.
You are powerless. We shall meet again. You have refused my demand, but you shall hear from me. Farewell, Frankenstein.
Victor, do not go after him. He will kill you.
Elizabeth, what can I do? You heard his threat.
Let us gather the villagers together so that by uniting we may destroy him. One man cannot prevail against him, but many will succeed in killing him.
You are right, Elizabeth. I swear that the monster of my creation shall die tonight.
Did you succeed in finding the monster that night, Baron Frankenstein?
Ask me no more now, Captain Walton. I am tired. I must not overtax my strength. Let me rest now.
You will rest now, and I will write the notes of your story in my journal.
So be it. Come to me tomorrow, and I will tell you of the horrors which befell me.
And now, the next episode of Frankenstein, starring George Edwards.
We now present George Edwards in Frankenstein. Baron Frankenstein is taking shelter in the good ship Voyager, where he is the guest of Captain Walton. While the Voyager was icebound, Frankenstein told the captain some of his tragic story. He told of the creation of the monster, of its escape and return.
I trust that you had a refreshing sleep, Baron Frankenstein. Certainly look much better this morning.
Thank you, Captain. I slept very well, and I feel that my strength is gradually returning.
I am glad to hear that. Do you feel inclined to tell me some more of your story?
Well, I remember telling you how the monster had returned. He had learned to speak, and he begged me to make him a mate.
Yes. One cannot help feeling a little sorry for him. I know what it is to be bitterly lonely.
I also know, but the monster rushed out of the house when I refused. My wife and I discussed the matter. I sent for the burgomaster and begged that his officers would look for the monster. Some little time later, the storm burst in all its fury. The rain came down in torrents, and the thunder roared. My wife approached me anxiously.
Victor, do you know that Justine has not brought little William home yet?
I had almost forgotten about them, Elizabeth. Are you sure they have not come home?
I have searched the house. We have asked the other servants, and they have seen no sign of them.
Dear, this is most disturbing. You instructed the woman to come home before the storm burst.
They have been out for a long time. Do you think we should go and look for them?
Well, they only went to the edge of the lake. They cannot be far away.
I am worried, Victor. You know the monster is loose out there. Suppose that he were to attack William or Justine.
Oh, there is no fear of that. Undoubtedly, Justine and William are taking shelter somewhere.
I hope that you are right. But Justine, you have returned. Where is William? How can I tell you? Speak, girl. Where is William? I took him to the lake, and I was playing with him there. He ran away from me. He went into the woods. It took a long time to find him, but I failed. I called his name time and time again, but there was no reply. Storm burst. I became panic-stricken. I have been out in the rain searching for him. I fear that he may have fallen into the lake. Victor, you must go at once. Find the burgomaster and his men. Tell them to forget about the monster. They must find William.
I will go now. Have hope and courage, Elizabeth. I am sure that I will find William somewhere.
Madame, how can I ask your forgiveness? I swear that I meant no harm to come to the child.
You should have stayed with him, Justine.
If any harm has come to me, I will never forgive myself.
Well, go and change your clothes. You are wet through, and then come down here. We will wait patiently for Baron Frankenstein to return. Ah, Victor, you have not gone
I
yet.
am taking some of the servants with me. I have left word here that if the burgomaster and his men return, they are to look for William. Wait for me, Elizabeth. I will return as soon as possible.
Well, Baron Frankenstein, did you succeed in finding the child?
Well, for 2 hours I searched, taking my faithful servants with me. We wandered through the woods, calling the child's name, but there was no reply. At last, somewhat dispirited, I returned home to find my wife and Justine waiting for me as soon as I entered.
Victor, is there any news? Did you see any sign of William?
Not a sign.
He must have fallen into the lake, and it was my fault, Victor. I am distracted. What can have become of William?
I do not know, my dear. Did the burgomaster return?
He has not been back yet. The storm is abating.
Yeah, it is passing. We will continue our search all through the night.
Listen. I hear men's voices.
So the burgomaster is returning. Bring him in here, Justine.
As you command, Baron Frankenstein.
Oh, I blame myself for this in a way. Victor, we should never have allowed Justine to take William out today.
She should have taken better care of him. She should never have allowed him to stay out of her sight.
What is that?
A woman screamed.
Victor, what can it mean?
Burgomaster, what has happened? Who screamed?
I am sorry to tell you, Baron Frankenstein, that a tragedy has occurred. My men have found the body of the child, William.
William is dead?
Yeah, the girl Justine saw his body when we were carrying it in. My men are holding her.
Elizabeth, I do not know what to say to you.
Burgomaster, tell us what has happened.
I only know that we were searching for this monster of whom Baron Frankenstein spoke. During the course of our search, we looked through some rushes on the edge of the lake, and there we found the body of the boy, William.
Oh.
He was lying face downward in shallow water, and he was dead when we found him.
Did you send for a doctor?
Yeah, we did, but the doctor could not have helped in this case, Baron Frankenstein.
Do you think the boy tripped and fell into the water?
I think that he was pushed into the water. And I think Justine was responsible for the crime.
Oh, no, you must not say that.
You have been away, both of you. But it is common talk here that Justine disliked the boy. She was always scolding him, and she told people that he was a difficult child. And we think that in a fit of rage, she pushed him into the water.
Oh, I do not think that is possible.
Well, let us have the girl in here and question her now.
But my wife is grief-stricken. She need not remain here.
Let me go and look at the body of William. I will send Justine to you.
Very well, my dear. But do not distress yourself. Please go to your room and rest.
I feel that I shall never be able to rest peacefully again.
I will wait here with the burgomaster. Tell them to bring Justine in here.
Very well, my dear.
I know this is most distressing for you, Baron Frankenstein, but I have my duty to do. And if my suspicions are correct, then Justine will be arrested.
Tell me this. Did you see any sign of the monster? Any huge footprints?
No, we did not. The rain was coming down in torrents. No footprints would be left. Oh, bring Justine in here.
Why have these men seized me? I have committed no crime.
Hear me, girl. Is it not true that you were always scolding the child?
He was a wayward child, and as he was in my charge, I had to correct his faults.
You are a woman of unbridled temper, and at times you have been known to strike the child.
Why, this is news to me, burgomaster.
She has been seen to strike the child.
That is not true.
That is true. Will you admit that at times you have struck him?
Yes, I have struck him, but merely because he deserved it.
You had no right to do that.
Hear me, Justine. Is it not true that in a fit of rage, you pushed the child into the lake?
That is untrue. I swear I did not push him into the lake. He ran away from me. He went into the woods, and I could not find him. You must believe me.
No, we do not believe you.
Baron Frankenstein, you know I would not kill the child.
Address your remarks to me, Justine. Is it not true that in a fit of rage, you pushed the child into the lake, and then you were afraid of your mad act? You wandered around in the rain for hours and pretended you were looking for him.
It is not true.
Did you quarrel with him today?
I was angry with him for running away from me, and I said I would slap him if I caught him.
You terrified the child.
I did not kill him.
I am going to arrest you and charge you with the murder. You will stand your trial in due time.
Baron Frankenstein, I appeal to you. I swear that the child came to no harm at my hands. I have served your family faithfully and well these many years. I did not murder William. You cannot believe it of me. I beg that you do not allow him to arrest me.
Burgomaster, I think you are being rather hasty. I cannot believe that Justine pushed the child into the lake.
It is my duty to arrest criminals, and I suspect her of having committed the murder.
You are a stupid man. There is no proof that I did it.
We will find proof.
What has happened?
Oh, Elizabeth, you have returned?
I felt I wanted to know what was happening here. And I thought that you should go and look on the body of William.
Justine has been arrested. The burgomaster thinks that she killed William.
Baroness, praise me. Do not let them arrest me. I did not kill the child. You believe me. You must believe me.
Burgomaster, why do you say that Justine killed the child?
Who else would have done it?
Wait here. I wish to go and look on the body of the child. Do not take Justine away until I speak with you again.
Very well. We will wait for you, Baron Frankenstein.
I will return in a few minutes.
Now, Justine, it will be better for you if you tell the truth. If you confess, then there may be a chance of saving your life. But if you persist in your denial and the court finds you guilty, then you will surely die.
But I am not guilty. And I know the Baroness does not believe that I am guilty.
Perhaps the Baroness is not aware that at times you struck the child.
Is that true, Justine?
I had to correct his faults. Never at any time did I strike him hard.
Oh, you had no right to strike him.
I go to my knees before you, Baroness. I swear I am innocent of this charge. Please help me.
Enough of that, Justine. You shall receive a fair trial. But I am convinced that you are guilty.
Wait, Burgomaster. This girl is not to be taken from the house.
What ails you, Baron Frankenstein?
She did not murder the child.
What? How do you know?
Did you not observe the marks upon the child's throat? He was strangled. The marks were the same as those upon the throat of my poor servant Julio. I am in reality the murderer of that child. The murderer.
Baron Frankenstein, what tragedy you have faced.
Well, even now, when I think of it, I feel that I loathe that devil. But I cannot die yet.
Will you tell me some more of the story?
Not now. Let me just rest for a while. Come to me later, and you shall hear further details of my tragic life.
That's Radio Classics for this time around. Be sure to join me again soon when I'll bring you another episode from those golden days of my favorite medium. And remember, what's old is new again at theradiodadio.com. I'm Dave Allen.